Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this purple starfruit keychain from Stardew Valley. Obviously it doesn't have to be a keychain, you can turn it into a pin or use it for whatever you want, but I turned it into a keychain. And the way you're going to make this is with can tabs. So we're going to do a bit of upcycling here, you know, a bit of environmentally friendly. You're going to need 5, let me get 5 here. And you can do this with any sized can tabs. So I'm going to explain it how I did it, and then as I explain how I do it, I'm going to explain how you can do it to fit whichever can tabs you have. You will need 5 of the exact same one though. So the ones I have are from dog food cans, and they're this oval shape. I chose these ones because when you put them together, you already get the star shape because they're pointed, but you can use regular ones from like Coke cans and stuff. They will work too. You just might need to add an extra bit on each point to make it more pointy like a star. But it should work with any, but you will need 5 of the exact same one. So you will need that. You will need purple and pink yarn. Purple and pink, purple and green. My purple looks it's more magenta. It looks quite pink on camera, but I promise it's more purple in real life. Crochet hook, I'm using, this is cotton, and I think it's 4-ply, and I'm using a 2.5mm hook. But again, you can use whatever yarn, whatever hook. I will explain it so that it can fit any can tab, any yarn. And then you will also need a needle. I have my needles in here. Scissors. And then if you want to turn it into a keychain, I have pliers and a keychain to attach it to. It could also be quite cute as a pin. Stick a little pin on the back, but it's quite big, so that's why I turned it into a keychain instead. Sorry for the shaky camera. My tripod is very bad. Anyway, let's get started. So to get started, you will need to lay out all 5 can tabs with one hole overlapping on each one. So I'll do it down here so it'll be easier. Now the first bit that you do is a little bit fiddly to connect them all together, but get your yarn, do a slip knot, leave enough of a tail just so you can sew in at the end, pick up 1 can tab, and then we're going to start in the smaller hole of whichever size can tab you're using. So you're going to stick your hook in, grab the yarn, pull up, and then yarn over and pull through like you would for a regular single crochet. And then we're going to do 6 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, as you can see, there's a gap on this side. That's because when we get round to the start, we're going to do 3 more. So in total, you're going to have 9 in each hole. And it's important that you have an odd number. If you have thinner yarn, you may need to do 11, you may need to do 13, whatever. But make sure that it is an odd number so that you can have a point in the exact center, and you can have the stem in the exact center. So whatever number you need, do that as long as it's odd. And then this is the fiddly bit. So you kind of have to pick up all 5. Don't worry if they're not in a star shape at the moment. That doesn't really matter for now. You get the end. But you want to work in all 5 centers. So do the same thing, same single crochet, but going through all 5 instead of through just 1. Like that. So that's the bit that can be a little bit fiddly. But then if you spin around the next one, you're going to then work, like I said, 9 single crochets into the next hole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, move the green, and 9. And then again, once you've finished, put them all back together, and then you're going to do another single crochet in between all 5. And then as you do that, it will get easier the more you do, because now they're kind of attached more securely. And then you basically just repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then 1 in all 5. Spin around the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The end is in the way. And 9. And again in all 5. And then you have one last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now you can kind of spread them out and make an actual star shape. Do the last one in the middle. Like so. And then, like I said, because we only did 6 to begin with, we're now going to just do 3 in here. 1, 2, and 3. And that is how simple it is. So this kind of makes more of a flower shape. And if you use fizzy drink can tabs, so a Coke or something, yours might be a lot kind of flatter or more square. And this is the bit that we turn it into a star. So whatever you've done, whatever number you've done, you should have an odd number in each one. So I'm going to tell you how I make the point. Oh, my hookers, the handle keeps falling off. And then I can explain what you can do. So because I have 9 in each one, started with 6 and 3, that means I have 1 stitch and then I get to the middle stitch, and I did that on purpose. So the way I do the point is to make the point, I do a single crochet followed by a double crochet followed by a single crochet, and then I slip stitch along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, that was off camera. Let me do that again. Sorry, I don't notice when I go off camera. But then I slip stitch across 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I get to the 3 in the middle again, and I do another single followed by a double followed by a single, and then more slip stitches, etc. But if yours is very flat, you might want to go straight into a half double, then a triple, then a half double, or anything like that. And if you have more stitches in a number, instead of 3 on the point, you might want to do 5. You might want to do single, half double, double, half double, single around the 5. It depends what yarn you're using, it depends what can tabs you're using. So experiment a little bit, decide how many stitches along you want your point to be, so -3, and then decide what you want to do for your stitches. You can do anything to make a point as long as it's symmetrical. So obviously I have single, double, single, symmetrical. That's why we have an odd number. So you have a point and then it'll be symmetrical on either side. And then as you can see, it turns it into more of a star shape. It's still a rounded star, but more of a star. So I'm going to continue with what I'm doing. So it's the 3 point and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, single, double, single. By the way, I should probably say the way I say singles and doubles, I'm using US terms. Despite my accent, I am English, but the US terms make way more sense to me than the UK terms. So that's what I use in all of my videos. And then again, single, double, single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, single, double, single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you get back to the start. And then here, just cut, leaving enough of a tail to weave in. And this is what your star should look like. So obviously it looks kind of like a star fruit because you got the big hole in the middle, but then once you add the stem, that will help it even further. So once you've experimented and you've decided what the points of the star are going to look like, then it's time for your stem. So you get the green, make a slip knot, again leaving just enough of a tail to weave in. And then you're going to find any, doesn't matter which one you do it on, but any, the very point stitch, the very stitch at the top, which is why we did an odd number, like I said. So whichever stitch you have in the center of the point, you're going to do a slip stitch. And then to make the leaves, you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then in the second chain from the hook, you're going to do a slip stitch. And then working along the chain, you're going to do a single, followed by a half double, followed by another single, and then you're going to slip stitch back into that same stitch. For the stem, chain 1, chain 2, and then slip stitch in the second, and then slip stitch back into the same stitch. So they're all done into the same top stitch, and then another leaf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, second chain from hook, slip stitch, then working along the chain, single, half double, and another single, and then finally slip stitch back into the same stitch, cut, leaving a tail to weave in, pull tight, and there you have the stem and the leaves. Now I'm going to show you how I personally weave in the ends. You can just tie a knot and then maybe secure it with some glue or whatever you want, but I might as well show you the whole process. So I like to just thread the needle, get the yarn onto the back side, and then going through these stitches around around the actual can tab, like so. Pull through, cut, and then if I want it extra secure, I add a little dab of super glue where the end came out, and then repeat that with the other purple end. Like so. And then for the green ends, I like to just thread the needle and then stick it kind of in the middle of all the stitches, just going down the leaf. Sorry, my tripod is shaking so much. And again, cut and then do a tiny dab of super glue if I want it really secure. For the other end, put it onto the needle, and then again make sure it's coming out the back and not the front, and then thread all the way down the center of the leaf. Like so. And there you have your very own star fruit. Then for the keychain, if you want to, I just got my pliers. I have these kind of pre-made keychains ready. I got them from Vinted actually, they're second hand. And then you can just hook it wherever you want into the top of the stem. Close it. I need to get some better pliers because only one of them has the grips, this one doesn't, so it's quite awkward. And there you have your very own starfruit, purple starfruit keychain, even though it looks pink. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoy making it. It's just a cute little project, a way to do a bit of upcycling involving can tabs, turning them into something cute. If you have any questions, comment down below and I'll do my best to help you. For example, if you have a particularly weird shaped can tab you want to use, send me a photo and I can try and like help you with what to do for the points. I can try and give you some advice. If you want more Stardew Valley patterns, I have a Crobus pin tutorial on my channel, so go check that out. I posted that I think last week or the week before, I can't remember. And if you have any thoughts, any ideas, just comment down below. I'd love to hear from you and I appreciate all the comments. So like and subscribe if you thought it was helpful, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!